I had lots of ideas, but I did eventually settle on traveling with dogs. I think it just seems like the most viable topic, and I can source my own images. Next, I looked at some competitor websites, 4 of which were both typical and beautiful. Fairly definitely the direction I would go towards. Wouldn't go towards this direction, so we have the 3 ugly websites, 2 of which were unique, one of which was fairly typical, and this one piqued my interest. It's unique, but to me, not beautiful enough to be up here. These are the features of the sites. The most common features were tips for car rides and dog-friendly locations, which are the most important parts of the website. But one thing that I was interested in, which was on 1 out of 10 websites, was events. So dog meetups and greyhound events, walks and hikes, but I think it would be great to have that on my website. Next, analyzed. So this was on all the websites, but most prominent on these 3 was the visual hierarchy. So of course here we have the banner, we have the text, we have this text up here, and we have this typography, very large, and that just helps you know where to look in the website. One thing that I did notice was many websites had bold typography and fonts. So we have this fully capital font, we have this text box, and we have this one. So all the fonts were sans serif font. I think most of these websites have a very light-hearted feel. Then we have balance. Wouldn't use this as my example, as in something I would want to do. Next, we have color palette. I have this blue, maybe not intentional, but we have the blue, which I like. I like this color palette. And we have contrast. Of course, you need to be able to read the text. So first, I identified my audience for my site, so much older people, people who go on road trips with their dogs, family. The target audience needs my website because they want to find their travel locations and access information. They usually do this by checking each place individually, and I would help improve this by putting everything onto my website. Site goals basically make it easier to travel. Just have one website, and you gotta engage with the content and maybe even contribute to the discussion. And my site goals match. Most people traveled with 1 or 2 dogs. No one that I interviewed traveled with more than 2 dogs. Some people have larger dogs and some had smaller dogs. And the personalities are varied. Some are playful, others are nervous, and some are loud and vocal. With the large dogs, they need more space, they need breaks for stretching their legs, and you just need to carry a lot of water because they drink so much. With small, the most important need was bathroom breaks. Everyone answered the same for this, all the same. How do they usually find accommodation? Most people would just call ahead, and with cafes and restaurants, mostly internet searches. One person said personal experience. With outdoors places like hikes and trails, most people asked other pet owners. And frequent issues when traveling was other dogs being aggressive. 8. Most people preferred open spaces with fewer people, and for greyhounds, on lead areas, and most people thought of plans with their own brains. They used their previous experience, and everyone had a positive experience at pet-friendly cafes. Apart from the weather, might just be a Melbourne issue. A lot of places have rules or restrictions, and double check for extra cleaning fees. Also, a simple checklist would be good for people who are not as experienced traveling with their dogs. So Maria is a 60-year-old greyhound owner. She likes to work full-time and relax on weekends with her dogs. She lives with her husband, children, and 2 greyhounds. Her goals are to stay healthy and retire as soon as possible. Frustrations, balancing work, personal time, and family commitments. Of course. Personality, she's extroverted and moderately organized, and she can use technology, but she prefers when things aren't too complicated. Target audience of my website will be dog owners aged 45 to 65 who enjoy road trips and traveling with their dog, and they are moderately tech savvy, will provide reliable information. And the focuses of my website will be streamlining everything, not references here, and that's all.